What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into the channel. I know it's been quite some time, but we have some reveal cards. I was fortunate enough to get some reveal cards for Secret of Power from Fantasy Flight, so I'm very appreciative of that. Today, we're going to talk about two new cards from the set, as well as we're going to talk about the Yularen that was revealed today as well, because the cards kind of go decent with it because they are low-costing cards. So first off, let's go ahead and talk about Yularen here. For an action, you can attack with a unit, and you may attack with another unit that costs less than it. So obviously you're going to want to play the deck with a good spread of like low costing units and probably not like super high costing units, but like cards that you can use with this ability pretty consistently. The only problem I kind of see with it is that it might take a little bit to be able to use the effect, right? Because turn one, maybe you're playing two 1-drops or a 2-drop. Turn two, you'll play a 3-drop. You still can't use the effect because what you attack with the one unit, to get the free attack and the action economy behind it, you need to attack with a unit that costs less. Unless you're going to be using Porgs in the deck, right now there's no other 0-drops that you're going to be putting in here. So essentially you're going to be waiting till that third turn to be able to use the attack. So maybe it's not as fast as you would like, but it does come out on 5, right? If you control 5 resources, you may deploy the leader. And when you do, he's a 4/6, so that's pretty decently statted. And then when this unit completes an attack, you can attack with a unit that costs 4 or less, right? So it gives the same vibes as Leia, but you don't have to get trait locked like Leia does, right? That requires you to attack with another rebel. And this one is just cost related. I don't know what's better, because being able to play 2 rebels is an option with Leia, and you're able to use her ability on the second turn if they both stay on the field. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. But I do think that it's going to be a very solid leader for draft, because you are going to be able to get that action economy at some point, and sometimes that's just enough to get that little bit of speed that your opponent may not have, right? So I think it's going to be a really solid draft leader. But as far as Premier, I'm not super sold on it. I think it has potential, but with the cost requirement, it kind of gives me some skepticism, right? With that being said, let's go ahead and hop into our 2 cards that we're going to be talking about today. And the first one is our 1-drop villainy vanilla 2/2 Supreme Council Aid. Now, this is, who doesn't love, you know, a 1-drop vanilla card with all the decks that are kind of going, you know, you see the space aggro decks with all those 1-drops going wide as possible. Maybe you start seeing some more ground decks do it, right? CAD's starting to do it. I think that this is a card that can be potentially good in Premier to help you with that go wide strategy. And then also, it goes well with Phasma, because Phasma's first order, this is the first order card. Maybe you start being able to use her in a more effective way, because you're starting to get the more first order cards, flooding the board with first order cards. So that's a leader that you can potentially see this being good in, right? Also, just being able to use it as an option for Yularen as well, because it is a 1-drop. So like you're more often being able to attack with a 2 or 3-drop before attacking with this if they're able to stay on the field. It gives you a good option to see in the Yularen deck, and then also you can play a 2-drop and a 1-drop to end some turns, right? Kind of continue to flood the board. But again, nothing crazy here, but I think it's a card that's going to be pretty solid in draft, as well as some Premier decks that want to go wide and go with that aggro strategy, right? Next card we have is the Imperial Occupier. It is a 2-drop aggression villainy card. It is a 2/2 as well, but it has the on defeat ability. When defeated, create a spy token. So even if this card is defeated before you get to attack with it, it is replaced by a spy token, and essentially you're able to get that 2 damage in on base anyway, right? So that's pretty good there. Another card that I think can be really solid in draft. In Premier, it can see some play maybe in a Thrawn deck. It'll help you get more units on the board with Thrawn, because instead of being replaced by 1 spy token, you're going to be replacing it with 2 spy tokens. So I think that's pretty cool. But a card that might be better off in draft, because you're still able to keep a unit on board when it's defeated. And so that's pretty much how I feel about that one. I still think it's a pretty solid card, especially in a deck like Thrawn. But again, both these cards I think are going to be really solid in draft and might see some play in Premier. With that being said, those are the 2 cards that Fantasy Flight has given me to talk about today. Again, really appreciative of them getting me these cards to talk about. We are going to be more consistent on the channel. I have guest set up, my buddy Tommy, someone that I've worked with for my deck for Worlds, right? I went 6-0 day 1 at Worlds. Day 2 didn't end quite the way that I wanted it to. I lost the win and into day 3, but overall, I think I had a very solid experience. I want to bring him in here. I want to talk about how we worked together on the deck. He was kind of the mastermind behind a lot of the decisions. And I just want to talk to you guys about why we chose the deck that we did, what made us come up with some of these decisions. And also, he did end up winning a PQ with it following Worlds as well. So he's very solid with the deck. I'm pretty good with the deck as well myself. It's just the next video I have coming up. Just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a spoiler there. And again, if you guys are new here, you want to show your support, make sure you hit that sub button down below. I know it's been a little bit since I've posted, but we're going to be a little bit more consistent as we go forward here. Thank you again to Fantasy Flight for allowing me to talk about these cards early. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.